All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are unpacking OpenAI's massive GPT-5 launch. And look, they're not just saying it's an upgrade. They're making a pretty bold claim. It's like having an on-demand PhD expert in your pocket. So does it actually live up to that hype? Let's find out.
So to really get what this is all about, you got to look at this one quote from Sam Altman. He says it's like talking to a legitimate PhD-level expert in anything. And that right there, that's the whole ballgame. We're not just talking about a smarter tool. We're talking about a whole new category of intelligence on tap.
And this is a great way to think about it. You know, if GPT-3 was kind of like a high schooler, and GPT-4o is a pretty sharp college student, well, GPT-5 is supposed to be the PhD expert in the room. This isn't just a minor step up. It's a fundamental shift from knowing a lot of stuff to having deep, specialized reasoning.
Okay, so what does that even mean, right? A PhD in your pocket. It's a great line, but let's cut through the marketing. Let's look at what's actually under the hood that's supposed to make GPT-5 so incredibly smart.
So how does an AI get this smart? Well, it starts with a truly mind-boggling number. 700 million. That's how many people are using ChatGPT every single week. Think about that. It's this massive, unparalleled feedback loop that's constantly helping to train and refine what comes next.
And it's not just talk. Here's the proof in the pudding. Look at this data. We're not talking about tiny, incremental gains here. On these really tough benchmarks for coding and reasoning, GPT-5 is just blowing past the older models. It's setting a whole new state-of-the-art. In fact, on some of these, it's even outperforming the human experts who designed the tests in the first place. That's wild.
But look, being super smart is one thing. Being right is everything. And let's be honest, we've all seen AI get things wrong, those hallucinations that can make you not trust it. So a massive focus for this new release was tackling exactly that. They're saying this is their most factual, most reliable model ever, which is absolutely crucial if you're going to use it for anything important.
Okay, this is where it gets really fun. We've talked about the power, but now let's see it in action. The demos. This is where we see how GPT-5 can take just a conversational vibe, a simple idea, and turn it into something real and complex. This is where it starts to feel like a superpower.
So check this out. Somebody asks a simple physics question. Hey, remind me how the Bernoulli effect works. It gives a text answer. But then they say, you know what? Show me. And bam, GPT-5 just writes almost 400 lines of code and creates this fully interactive physics simulation. Right there. That's not just explaining something. That's creating something from scratch.
And the creative side is just as mind-blowing. They asked it to write a eulogy for the older AI models. GPT-4o gives you something fine, kind of generic, like a template. But GPT-5, it comes back with something genuinely nuanced, personal, almost emotional. It's that jump from just having a high IQ to having a high EQ as well. It feels like a real partner.
So let's dig into this idea they're calling vibe coding. This is a perfect example. The prompt isn't a bunch of technical jargon. It's a human request. Create a beautiful and interactive web app for my partner to learn French. It's about the goal, the feeling, not just the function. And look what happens. It doesn't just spit out some code. It builds a whole, fully functional, beautifully designed web app. It figures out the design, it adds the features like flashcards and quizzes, and it even invents a custom game called Mouse and Cheese, all from that one simple conversational sentence. It's incredible.
Okay, so they decided to push it even further. A developer just throws this prompt at it. Create a beautiful 3D castle with guards and cannons and a minigame. Again, notice how it's not a technical spec sheet. It's a creative wish list.
And this is what it comes up with. A whole interactive 3D world. You've got animated characters, you've got physics, you've got a working minigame where you can pop balloons. It didn't just follow orders, it showed a real sense of art direction, of creativity, and aesthetics. So, all this power is amazing, but how does it actually show up for you every day? Well, the next big push is all about personalization. The goal is to make the AI feel less like this one-size-fits-all tool and more like it's your AI.
And yeah, that starts with simple stuff like changing the colors, but it gets way deeper. You can actually start to tune its personality. So maybe for one project, you need a supportive coach cheering you on. For work emails, you want a straight-to-the-point professional. And maybe for brainstorming, you want a sarcastic partner to challenge your ideas. It's about matching its style to whatever you're doing.
Now, this next part, this is a potential game changer. They're rolling out secure integrations with your personal apps, starting with things like Gmail and Google Calendar. This means the AI can go from being reactive, just sitting there waiting for you to ask a question, to being proactive. It can start to anticipate what you need because it actually understands your schedule, your context.
All right, let's pull back for a second and look at the bigger picture, because the impact of this stuff goes way beyond just a chat window. It's set to change how developers build things, how businesses run, and yeah, even how we manage our own lives.
So for anyone building with this, it's not a one-size-fits-all situation anymore. They've released a whole family of models, so you can choose. Do you need the absolute maximum power and reasoning from the main GPT-5 model? Or, for a quick task, do you need the super-fast 25 times cheaper Nano model? It gives developers way more flexibility.
But maybe the most important impact isn't about code or business at all. It's the human one. There was this really powerful story shared by a woman named Carolina Millen. She just received a cancer diagnosis, and she was looking at this complex medical report, just completely panicked. And in that moment, she just took a screenshot of it and dropped into ChatGPT.
And what happened next really gets to the heart of what this technology can do. It's not just about cool demos. It's about closing knowledge gaps when it matters most. As Carolina puts it, it's about empowering patients to really participate and advocate for themselves, to understand what's happening in their own healthcare. With all this power, of course, safety is a huge deal. And OpenAI is evolving how they handle it. They have this new system called safe completion. So instead of just giving you a hard no if you ask something sensitive, it tries to be more helpful. It'll guide you toward a safer, more constructive way to get what you need, which is a much smarter approach, both safer and more useful. So, as huge as this launch is, it's definitely not the end of the story. Not even close. For the researchers who built this, GPT-5 is just another step, another milestone on a much, much longer journey.
And their vision for what's next is pretty profound. The chief scientist talks about this recursive loop of improvement, basically the idea that this AI will help us build the next, even smarter AI. The end goal here isn't just for AI to know everything we know. It's for it to help us discover brand new knowledge about the world, things we don't even know yet.
Which brings us to a final, pretty provocative thought. When an AI can take a single sentence, a single idea, and turn it into complex software or art or analysis, the barrier between having an idea and creating it is just dissolving. So the question really isn't about the technology anymore. It's not, what can it do? The real question is, what ideas will you bring to life with it?